Hello everybody. In this screencast we're going to look at how to send data back. I'm not going to use an unwind segue. I'm just simply going to use send data back. So let's see. So basically I created this two screens, view controller and the second view controller, and you see here when I click here I want to go to the next screen and I'm going to be not being sending data. So what I could do is I can wire up this button directly here, and I click on show, control, click, drag. Now when you run it, when you click the button, it will go to the next screen. Okay, here we are. And I'm gonna click on the button, it goes to the next screen. Perfect. So now you enter the name and the email, we create a user object, we wanna send it back. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use a protocol and a delegate. Okay, a protocol in Swift terms, it's similar to an interface in Java. So basically what's going to happen is that this guy is going to implement an interface, and then it will send that implementation to the second view controller. The second view controller is going to use that implementation, we call it the delegate, to send back the data. Okay, so let's see. So let's see how to do this. So we are here. We create an interface called the protocol. Protocol, give it a name. Let's call it, for example, data... maybe let's say back delegate. All right, and then here there is one function that we're going to add. So a function, and we're going to call it send back, and we're going to send back a user. Here is a user object. Here is a user. So basically this is just a description of the protocol. Now we want this guy to implement the protocol because it's the one that's going to receive back the user object. So in order to do that, you use extension. It's called extension. This is how you implement an interface extension for the view controller, when the extension is data back delegate. And then basically it's going to complain to tell you, hey, this protocol has a specific function that you have to implement. You see here, you wait a little bit. Here it is. It says that this view does not conform to the protocol. You click here, add the subs, and it adds the function. So basically what's going to happen is that this guy is going to implement this interface, and that interface allows you to have a function to send a user in it. I'll go do some printing here. Let's say here, I'll just say data delegate send back data. Okay, this just to show you that's being called. All right, now what I want to do is that when you actually click this button, I want to send an instance of the delegate to the second view controller, and then the second view controller, when you click on submit, I will create the user object and then send it back through that delegate to the view controller. So in order to do that, we go back here, we created a segue. I need to send this. When I click this button, I want to send data forward, which is the delegate, right? So we go here, we give it a name, the segue, we give it a name. Let's say go to second view controller segue. All right, here's the segue ID, here it is. So now when we prepare for segue in the first view controller, prepare for segue, if segue dot identifier is equal to, here it is, then what I'm going to do is let view controller equals segue dot destination. This is where I'm going to the second view controller as second view controller, here it is. And in the second view controller I will have I will create a variable var, and that variable is a data back delegate. All right, and its type is this type. So its type is data back delegate. Okay, and question mark because this is optional. All right, perfect. Copy that, and then basically we'll do vc dot, and then this data back delegate equal to what? Equal to self. Why equal to self? Because self is view controller, and view controller implements or extends is extended by implementing the data back delegate, right? So it is a data back delegate. So that's why I could do something like this. So now this guy now has a copy of the implementation of this function, and whenever it calls it in the context of view controller. So it's as if it's sending data back. So now we are here, self dot user. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do self dot data back delegate dot send back user, and I'm gonna send the user that we just created. Okay, we don't need it, so we can do something like this. We don't need this user here. All what I do is I create a user, send it, right? And then I need to dismiss to close the screen. Okay, here it is. Okay, so let's recap a little bit. We created a protocol, and the view controller implements that protocol, and then we send the implementation of the protocol to the second view controller, and the second view controller will use it to send back the data. All right, so now let me put a breakpoint here, okay, and then we run this. And you will see now that I go here, I click on get user, it shows up here. I'll do Bob and then b@b.com, and basically .com, and I click on submit, and then what happens is it hits this method, and you can see here there is a user that's being passed, Bob, and we are in the first view controller. Perfect. So now all what I have to do is just use it. So I can go here and use it. You know, I could just say self dot email label dot text equals user dot email, right? Something like that. And then similarly self dot name label dot text equals user dot email dot name. All right. So we can do stuff like this. Run this again. I think probably I need to let's see if this will work. Get user. We type here Bob. Here's Bob, b@b.com, and I click on submit, and you can see here I'm getting Bob and b@b.com. Click on it again, click cancel. Now I can also do stuff like, for example, I can make this user as optional, like for example, but I have to change the, so I'll make it optional here, and then the function also is optional here, and then I could check to see if let user equals user, right? So basically this checks to see, or let's just to avoid confusion, equal to this means that, or what I could do is that if user is not equal to nil, right, then there is else that it's nil. So now if it's not equal to nil, I will do something like this, and then else I am going to, I don't need this user also, see here, unless I have to store it somehow. And basically this is the user, so basically I could just, I need to unwrap, here it is here, else I will do this, else I will just indicate that it's not assigned. All right, so I go back here, Control C, Control V, and then here NA, and so on. So basically, when is it not assigned? When the user clicks cancel. You see here when you go get user, when you click cancel, I want to catch that. So I just need to change the code a little bit. Okay, so now if we go back here, when you click cancel, we're just dismissing. In that case, I'm going to change things a little bit. I will call the delegate, right? I will call the delegate and send it a user as nil. Okay, I can do that. When that nil is received, it goes into this side and it sets it to NA. All right, so let's try this. Okay, here we are. And get user. All right, we go here, we type, I'll just click on cancel and it says NA. Click on it again. Let's B and test. Click submit, B and test. All right, so we did demonstrate how to use delegates and how to use protocols in order to send data back. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.